Howdy, howdy, welcome to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. Last time we had built ourselves a Draco farm and gotten our Atmos suits up and running on the main island. This episode we're going to be focusing, hopefully, on replacing our mealwood with barbecue from our stone hatches we got going. In the meantime, in between episodes, I've gone ahead and put in 2 new incubators for our Draco eggs. We've already gotten our hands on a glossy Draco egg, which are basically just like normal Dracos, except for instead of producing reed fiber, they produce plastic, right? So before we can get started on replacing our food system here, we need a mechanic, right? Because we're going to need someone who can build an auto sweeper. But for someone to be able to build an auto sweeper, they need the here it is, mechatronics engineering. Which Liam on the other asteroid is actually really likes mechatronics engineering, and we're going to convert him over as well. So I think what's going to happen is either we're going to wait for a duplicate on the main island to be an engineer, which we'll need in the long run, or we just send Liam over, right? But in the meantime, I was thinking, we've had an artist this entire time, and we really haven't utilized it, right? So we might as well start putting some decorative blocks kind of around the base, I'm thinking. Actually, cancel that. Let's do research. Let's get the large sculpting block. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. So while that's doing, I have a wonderful mod, right? Called the Wallpaper Mod. Alright, it's in the description, or at least the name of it's in the description. Wallpaper Mod I really like. It doesn't affect the game too much, like making it easier or harder. Technically it does increase the decor around the area, but it mostly just helps your bases look nicer. And I'm a big fan of the way they look, right? See, it kind of covers up all the background material. And I like to use coal for all my hallways and such because it's a nice white, and you also have a bunch of coal if you do hatches. So I'm thinking we're going to start filling up some of these bases with some wallpaper. Alrighty, so we put in a bit of wallpaper just so you can kind of see what it looks like. It definitely cleans up the base a lot, and we can definitely add in some more, but we have unlocked our large sculpting block. Now we're going to be using granite because it gives the most decor material-wise. We're just going to throw all of those into the bedrooms. They can have access to that. I'm going to throw 2 of them right there next to where we dump all of our stuff, because we have a big downflux of decor. And go ahead and throw one in there as well. Maybe throw one down here. Throw one over here as well. Just kind of sprucing up our decor around the base. I'm going to go ahead and let them go back. Now, while we were building all those wallpapers, I was sitting there and thinking, and while I would really love to work on the food this episode, we have a more immediate problem, and we're also kind of held back on the food, given the fact that we don't have the mechatronics engineer on the main asteroid, right? And a more immediate problem is our liquid reservoir is going to fill up again. It's going to fill up soon, actually. And that is going to become an issue sooner rather than later. So what I'm thinking is we go ahead and build our chlorine room that we wanted to build before, right? So probably gonna just go ahead and deconstruct these like we did before. Let's wait for someone to come in. Hello? Where are all my duplicates? Oh, they're doing construction for the statues. So there we go, there we go. I'll let them build that. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. Okay, so we can go ahead and deconstruct that. And these two. Right, so there should be, yep, a vacuum in there now. Go ahead and dig all that area out. Now, for this to be a functional chlorine room, we do need a memory toggle, right? But to do that, we're going to need to start material science research, which is basically research using radiation, right? And we're going to go ahead and put in a little pitcher pump there. Liquid, water, enable auto bottle. Get a bit of water there as well. Let's not do that. I don't want to risk getting other gases in there. Cool, we got the radical generator. And yes, we can deconstruct that now. Coolio, coolio, coolio. Go ahead, take that out too. And we're gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, wait, actually, it needs to really be there, like so. Just make the whole roof like that. It's definitely gonna need to be a bit longer. Okay, so the way this room works is you're gonna have two liquid reservoirs, right? One here, one here. And then you're gonna have yourself liquid shutoffs, right? One that comes in here. Yeah. And then here. Here? I'm going off memory here, so it's it's taking me a second. Also, once again, I made the same mistake I did before. I'll have to rebuild that pipes. But basically, we want the water to come into one, and then the liquid goes from into the next one. So, okay, yeah. We don't need this one. Yeah, okay. So basically, your excess water from this loop here, coming out of this input pipe right here, out of this output, it's gonna come across, and it's gonna enter here, come out here, go into this input to shut off. This is gonna go up here. This is gonna go in this input, and then this is gonna be the clean water that is drinkable now. That could just be dumped wherever, right? the way this system works is basically the liquid's going to come in and feed through the first liquid reservoir and start filling up the right liquid reservoir, right? And the right liquid reservoir is going to slowly fill up with water that has food poisoning germs, but sitting in chlorine, pure chlorine, which then forces it to... Ooh, we gotta make sure we get that polluted oxygen out of there. But it's sitting in chlorine, which will kill off the germs, right? Actually, really quickly. And the moment it kills off the germs, then more water will just keep being added until it eventually gets full. Once it gets full, a buffer gate will activate, and the buffer gate will basically say, okay, we're going to give it 200 seconds to make sure it kills any remaining germs, then dump the far right container, right? And while this far right container is on the buffer, this middle shutoff shuts off, and water starts filling up this one, so it doesn't recontaminate this one. 200 seconds are up, dumps, then this shuts off, this opens up again, and then the cycle continues. And it'll be a lot easier to explain once we actually build the thing, right? But we're gonna go ahead and let them build that. And actually, now that I think about it, we are going to need to place this here, and here probably, just so they can reach up and actually build. The things, these need to be priority 6, so we can go ahead. Let's check on our decor. It's gotten a lot better with the new additions. We got piloting, athletics, husbandry, agriculture pilot, medicine, green thumb, handy, uncultured, masterworks. Nope, we'll just take the gold. Like I said, we're looking for someone who's focused on engineering. Right, good old engineers who we're looking for. We'll go ahead and let them build that. While they're building that, we can go ahead and also get started on our material science. So we've got 125 rads per cycle up here on the surface, and things like wastewater also produce it. So that's about 181. So I think we're going to probably use wastewater for our research, at least for the time being. And to do that, how much food do we have? We have a bunch of food. I don't think food's really that big of an issue, so we're gonna go ahead and deconstruct this and replace these tiles and turn this into a bit of a pseudo science room. Right? We'll go ahead and let them do that. How's our gases? Did we trap any other gases in here? Alright, so we have a little bit of carbon dioxide in here that magically disappeared. Not gonna question how, but that is nice. Is that polluted dirt? That is polluted dirt. Okay, so priority 5. Let's sweep that up. Actually, let's sweep everything that isn't bleach stone. So bleach stone is under consumable ore. We're gonna go ahead and open that up and deselect bleach stone. And we'll just say sweep everything else. Liquid reservoir. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Bam, bam. Plumbing. Liquid shut off, liquid shut off. Perfect. Alrighty. Darko. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sweep that up. We're gonna come up here, we're gonna go to station, and we're gonna pick material study terminal. Now this thing can be gold, that's fine. And we're gonna shove this bad boy, I'm thinking, in the corner. And then we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to radiation, we're gonna do rad bolt generator, right? And we're gonna set this guy to about, I think, in here. And then we'll do food, planter box, and then we'll put in some weezeworts there. Now, this will technically put a bunch of radiation right around here. which is a bit of a downside. But this is more of a temporary setup until, you know, we can get like a reactor or something for material study. If this works. And we'll limit who can and cannot come in here, right? The only people who come in here should be the farmer and the researcher. And this should limit the amount of people that could possibly get shot by rad bolts, as well as, you know, being hit with 762 rads per cycle. Which is an amount. So naturally people should not be able to enter, but they can leave. Hassan can enter and leave. And Ren can enter and leave as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. There's our gas in here, it's still all chlorine. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We'll go ahead and do plumbing. And we're going to take this, output it, have it enter here, that goes into there, that one goes into there, that one goes in there, just like that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then we'll go over to do plumbing, grab our liquid bridge, and flip it. Input to output. Alrighty, so that's me 120 and 480, and this thing runs constantly. So just keep that in mind. This line's pretty held up. This one's got a bit of room left on it, but I think all in all we'll probably just go ahead and set up another power transformer. And go ahead and plug that in. And plug these two in. Just like so. I don't know why that's cobalt ore. Copper. Oh, go ahead and go back. I'm thinking at this point we're probably going to need to include another coal generator, as we are starting to consume a lot of power. Probably a good idea to go ahead and plug that in. Alright, so we're gonna lock this top door. Plumbing wise, yep, that's set up now, so all of our excess should be taken care of. We're gonna go ahead and replace this tile. So we're gonna put a tile there first, let them build that. And we'll put a tile here so none of our gases float over. And material study is set up. Alright, so our rival generator is powered and is starting to collect. It's going to be collecting 63 rad bolts per cycle. And every, I believe it's 10 rad bolts is 1 research point. If I'm not mistaken. I can't genuinely remember. It's been but we only need 20 applied research points, right? To get our memory toggle. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. And let's go and look at our power. So this got 1,145 possible power draw on this bad boy. I think we can take some stuff off of this and put it on another line. Alright, this is 900. We could take the grill off and put it on this one. What else is this plugged into? Plugged into that. You know what? I think we'll just set up another power line. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna just set up another power line. I think that'll just be easier in the long run. Go ahead, do that. Cut this one. And we'll bring this bad boy over just like so. And plug in these two. Actually, it's really only 20. I could have just plugged it into this line. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do that, honestly. It's not that much power being drawn. We're gonna deconstruct these old lines, deconstruct these, put that one back in. Okay. We're gonna take this one and plug it into this line. It's only 20 watts, and they're only gonna be used every now and then, right? So. Alright, so we want to set this high threshold to about 90. Low threshold, set that to 1, just so there's always a little bit of liquid left in there. And as our research going along. I think he's just a bit busy saying. Okay, so the way the automation is going to be set up here is, first of all, we need a buffer gate, which I still think we are researching. Yes, we are almost done with buffer gate. Come on, meat. No, not meat. Ren. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay, so we're going to need a buffer gate. Right, and the way the buffer gate is going to set up is we want it to be placed above here. Right above your thing, which is going to send a green signal when the reservoir is less than the low threshold, and a red signal when the reservoir is at the high threshold. Right, so we're going to plug that in, and we're going to plug it also directly into that. And we're going to go ahead and get a knock gate. We're going to throw that right above our buffer. We're going to plug it into that. Buffer, I like to set it to max. You'll probably get away with 150 seconds, but 200 seconds works just fine. Right. And then we're going to be throwing our memory toggle here when we're done researching it. So the way this is going to work is... The way buffer gate works is it outputs a green signal if the input receives a green signal, continues to send a green signal until it receives a red, and then once it receives the red signal, it's going to continue the green signal until the 200 seconds are up, and then it's going to send the red signal. Right? So this is going to be constantly sending green, and it's going to be outputting red, basically telling this guy to stay closed until this guy receives a red signal, aka a reservoir is full. Then this guy's going to take 200 seconds just to make sure all the excess drones get killed. Then it's going to send a green signal to the memory toggle, which basically tells this guy to open. All of it will be drained, right? And then once it's drained, the memory toggle will go back to sending the red signal back into this guy, the correct signal, right? It's a little complicated to explain. Just by explaining, sorry I had green thumb, early bird. He does have a bit of machinery, right? Requires a light to sleep. That's not too terrible to build, especially since I do bedrooms. Increases agriculture, morale bonus while in space. Huh. I think we can do a little bit better, right? I want someone with a little bit more operating skills, and we're working on another project right now anyways. So, I think we'll be okay. Oh, here we go. We got Ren going ahead and researching. So, I will be back when Ren is done researching, and we'll finish up the chlorine room. So real quickly, I decided to go ahead and put in a duplicate motion sensor and a ceiling light in, only just because when he's here and he's working, the sensor will sense that there's a duplicate here, and he'll turn the light on, which gives them the well-lit workspace buff, just so he can research that a little bit faster. Also gone ahead and put a signal switch hooked up to the rad bolt generator, so when we're not wanting to generate rad bolts and generate and, you know, suck in all this power, we can just go ahead and flip the switch and turn it off, right? Also because if this thing fills up the 100 rad bolts, this will keep shooting out rad bolts, it'll keep hitting this wall back here and slowly start irradiating the wall. Which, given how much radiation we already have in the room, you know, we don't need any more. So, but our research is almost done. 1920. Alrighty, so we've gone ahead and finished that research. So the way this works, right, is I'll show you the automation grid. So we have basically our liquid reservoir says when it's 90% full, send out a red signal. When it's, you know, above 1%, send a green signal. Or when it gets to 1%, right? So the way this works is right now it's going to send a green signal because it's empty, right? Until it reaches the 90% full rate. Which means it's going to send a green signal to the buffer, which is a red signal to the set port for a memory toggle. It basically says set the output of the memory toggle to red. This is going to stay red until our tank fills up to 90%, which then will send a red signal, which will then keep this green for 200 seconds until it sends a red signal. The knock-in will flip that to green, and then now we've set our output of our memory gate to green, which will then allow the water to start emptying, right? And it'll empty and empty and empty until the tank is almost empty. Then the tank will flip back over to red, or I'm sorry, will flip back over to green, and then that green signal will be sent to the reset port, which then will reset the memory toggle back to red. That's the best way I can explain it. We don't really have any liquids to go in there just yet, because we're only at 4,756. But this is it. This is all you need. And all you gotta do is power these two guys and set your plumbing up as so. And this is clean water that you can go put into a water tank you may have in your base, wherever else you want to put your water. Right now I'm just dumping it outside of the base. But this should turn your water, which has, you know, 12 million food poisoning germs, into water that has no food poisoning germs. It's really, really useful. And there's obviously other ways to do this. I just like this way the best because it's the most compact way of doing it. And sadly, we don't have any hard digging iron gut, shriveled taste buds, doctoring, soup running. Yeah, no, nothing really here. We'll take the algae, I guess, and we'll do that. So, yep, we've gone ahead and set up our material research, and I think we can re-enable these buildings. And I think turn this bad boy back on, and we can actually start doing some more applied research study for some other things. I think the next thing we can start researching is go ahead and I think I want to, yeah, I definitely want to learn some party line phones. I think that's going to be the last thing we're going to do this episode, is install some phones between the bases. So we're going to get a recreational room. I'm thinking here. So that's how much we need for a bedroom. Here. We have a tiny rec room. That'll be a tiny, tiny rec room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We may have like a max of 9 or 10. I think we can cut back on our thing. We'll just, or you know, we'll just make a tiny rec room for now. That's fine. We can always move the room later. What's the minimum size for a recreational room? 12 tiles? This is 16. It'll work. We can go ahead and do furniture, water cooler, lock, open, and people who are using the rec room are going to be heavily irradiated, thus being life. I did not think this through, but it's okay. We can go ahead and let them finish researching that up. There we go. Party line phones are great boosts to morale. Basically allow duplicates to call each other across asteroids and on other rocket ships. We can go ahead and install a couple over here as well. Missing decor item. Oh. I think we can throw in a little blank canvas. Make it a nice rec room. It is 11 tiles, right? I'm not crazy. Yes, it is. We want to put a bedroom here. That's what we're gonna need. We could also put in bedrooms down here, and we can expand this room out a bit if we wanted to. There's definitely enough room here to put in 2 bedrooms at minimum. Alrighty. There we go, recreational room. Now people have access to the party line phone, and there should be, yep, phones over here as well. And there you go. Gives them a nice boost to morale, and people are going to get heavily irradiated while calling, but that's okay. You know, it happens. I think the next thing we're going to research is some solar panels so we can get our outdated coal system out and start flattening the top of our map and put in some solar panels. Alrighty, so with that, I'm going to end today's episode. We got a couple of things done. I'm pretty happy with it, but I hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.